We are just suggesting that if you will make the way you feel a high, in fact, the highest, in fact, the singular priority, how I feel, nothing is more important than that I feel good, because nothing is more important than that I be in the vortex, because nothing is more important than that I be a cooperative component to who I have become, because when I'm not a cooperative component to who I have become, I'm not who I have become. In other words, doesn't that make perfect sense to you? You are creators. You didn't come to fix a broken world. It isn't broken. You came to explore it and to expand it. You came as eternal consciousness. So we want you to understand that as source energy, as we see you here in your physical experience, and you are giving birth to all kinds of new rockets of desires, we embrace those rockets and we hold steadily to the new place that you have carved out. We have access to the benefit that you provide. And then we stand as that steady signal so that you can find your way into alignment with it. Sometimes people say, so you're using us, eh? We're here doing all of this sifting and sorting. Sometimes they say, well, Abraham, why don't you come and be physical? Why don't you come and be physical? And we so want you to understand that that which you are is that which we are, and that which we are is that which you are. In other words, there is not a separation between us other than the temporary separation that you provide when you stand in negative emotion. In other words, it's all by your choice of thought that you hold yourself far too long outside the vortex. So we are eager to talk with you about anything that is important to you. We're going to offer everything that we can offer to coax you in the direction of your vortex. We stand in complete, never-ending appreciation for wherever you are standing, because we reap the benefit of everything you ask for. So some might say we do have the better end of this stick because we stand in the place getting to receive the benefit of all of your sifting and sorting and expanding. But we want you to understand that this vibrational place where we stand, this place of love always, this place of constant knowing and appreciation, this place of riding the fastest wave into the new realm of expansion, it's there for you too. In other words, you get to ride these rockets. When you feel elation, when you feel shivers running through you, what you're actually feeling is what we're feeling. We just want you to tune yourself to that more. We want you to experience the joy of the life that you have carved out, as we do. So, what do you want to talk about? You've come to talk about some things. We're going to have a wonderful day here together. So, we've begun talking about this vortex because we want you to understand that there are 3 steps to the creative process. Step 1 is ask, and you can't help but do that. Contrast causes you to ask all day, every day. Know what you don't want, you're asking for what you do want. Step 2 is source becomes the vibrational equivalent of what you're asking for. That's this vortex that we're talking about. Source stands in this vortex, emitting the signal of what you have become. And law of attraction gathers all cooperative components to that vibrational place. Now, sometimes you say, well, the vibrational place isn't all that exciting to me because I can't spend it. I can't see it even. I can't hear it. I can't smell it. I can't taste it. I can't touch it. I'm not that excited about this vibrational vortex thing, whatever it is. And we say, but you must be excited about it because you have to understand that everything that you know that has manifested in your physical world was a vibrational frequency first and was in a vortex vibrationally before the components were gathered enough that it could be translated through your vision, through your auditory, through your sensory perception. In other words, everything that you see in this physical time-space reality is a vibrational interpretation of something that was in a vortex, just like this vortex that we're talking about. It is a precursor to everything. It's big, and it is reality. Step 3 is you got to find a way into the vortex. You've got to let yourself be vibrationally up to speed. So we want to make this real to you. We want you to understand that once life has caused you to put something into this vortex, that this is reality. In fact, it is so much reality that we want to proclaim to you in a way that you will always remember us shouting this to you lovingly. This is present tense. This vortex is who you are. That's why when you don't let yourself be up to speed with it, you feel the drag that is what is resistance, that is what is negative emotion. When you feel bad, it's because you're not up to speed with the present vibration of who you are. Which means, now hear this, this means that everything that is manifested so far is old news. It's old news. That's why you get bored so fast, and you know you do. You know you do. As quickly as a manifestation comes, you're off to the next one. And we want you to understand that this vortex of creation is where it's at, because it is where the vibrational version of you is. It's who you have become. And if you're not up to speed with it, even a little bit not up to speed with it, you're going to feel the diminishment of not being up to speed with it. So if you're really not up to speed with it, you feel despair. You feel powerless. If you're less not up to speed with it, how's that for a tricky way of saying it? As you're closer to the vortex, feeling some anger, you're offering less resistance, more allowance. If you're overwhelmed, you're offering less resistance than you were, but still a pretty good wad of resistance. Frustration, pretty good wad of resistance. If you're feeling hopeful, there's not much resistance in your vibration at all. And when you feel hopeful, on a pretty regular basis, the vortex will take you in because you're close enough to cooperative that in you go. And once you're in the vortex, once you are in there, now you will have the full view of in the vortex. Now you'll be aware of things. Things will begin occurring to you. In other words, that hope turns to belief very, very quickly as you are in the vortex. And that belief turns to knowing very, very quickly once you're in the vortex, till you reach the place where you understand that you are creator and that there is nothing that you cannot be or do or have. And that everything that is occurring in your experience is by your choice and by your choice alone. If we can convince you that this vibrational reality does exist, and that shouldn't be hard because you have emotions that are pointing out the variance between you and you all day, every day. If you will feel the difference between fixating on something that you appreciate and staying there long enough that you feel yourself breathing it in completely, and then fixating on something that you are complaining about or condemning and feeling the interesting difference in the life-giving quality and the sucking the life right out of you quality of your focus, you can show yourself that these two aspects of you do exist. And then once we have convinced you that you have this vibrational relationship and that your emotions are the indicator of how you're doing, then you can begin to look forward, or better said, feel forward into this vortex of creation. Once you believe, now the vortex takes you in frequently, and once inside this vortex frequently, you begin, and we know this is going to sound ethereal, it's going to sound new agey, it's going to sound religious, it's going to sound like another dog and pony show. When you get inside the vortex, you will have the gift of sight, the gift of hearing, the gift of seeing, smelling, tasting, touching. When you get into the vortex, when you get in there and have practiced the vibration of it long enough that it comes easy to you, We see you sometimes, you'll meditate for 10 or 15 minutes and release resistance in the process, which means you're in the vortex. But then you come out into your day and complain like you have been. So you spend most of your day practicing the out of the vortex vibration and very little bit of your day in the vortex practicing the in the vortex vibration. This Art of Allowing workshop is all about getting as close as you can to the vortex and trusting that in time, if you get close enough, often enough, the vortex will take you in, and as it takes you in often enough, you're going to begin to practice the vibration inside the vortex, which means your resistance will subside, and by law, everything that you have been asking for, all of which is in this vortex of creation, must manifest in your experience, where not only you, but others may see it. Now, it's important to know, and you know this already, those not in the vortex usually can't see what you're manifesting because their vibration is such. Haven't you ever just felt wonderful and somebody else just feels awful and you're looking pretty much at the same street on the same day in the same city? In other words, there are as many different worlds moving around here as there are moods and attitudes. Esther sat to meditate one day and fixated on the words ease and flow. Ease and flow. And she couldn't think about ease without thinking about ease. Ease is a hard thing to be confused about. Ease is ease. Ease is wonderful things happening without struggle. Ease and flow. And as she pondered those two words for 15 minutes, when she came out of her meditation, her day turned around. She found more productivity with more fun and less effort than she'd experienced in a long, long time. And she thought, I like that feeling of ease. And we say, what she did was she accepted with very little effort the leverage of the vortex. When you care about getting in there, when you care about ease and flow, when you care about clarity, when you care about the way you feel, and you're willing to loosen your grip on the impropriety or the imperfection or the downright wrong behavior that you've been focused upon somewhere in your physical world, when you're willing to feel for alignment rather than sort out the problems longer, what you're going to discover is you have put enough into your vortex of creation to keep you happily busy for 20 or 30 lifetimes. And when you focus in a way that no longer keeps you out of the vortex, everything that you want will show up in your experience. Now, we hope you heard that in exactly the way we meant it, because we want you to accept that what law of attraction is, it is a unifying law. It is a culminating law. It is a attracting law. In other words, it is the law of rendezvous. It is the law of rendezvous. So if you've got a lot of ornery people in your life, the law of rendezvous is just showing you who you are. If people are stealing from you, the law of attraction, this rendezvousing law, is just showing you who you are. And you say, but wait, I would never steal from another. And we say, we're not saying that you're a thief, but you've got thief vibration going on. You're worried about people taken from you. You're worried about that sort of thing going on. It's active in your vibration, and the activation of things going wrong is the preventative reason preventing things from going right. Can you hear it? So we'd like to just zap you all with clear insight that makes you say, I'm going to stop fussing over the small stuff. And technically it's all really small stuff. It's all ineffective, unimportant. It's not needing to be documented because it's out of the vortex. I'm going to train myself into the vortex. That's where we want you to be when you exit this theater at the end of this day. We want you to have one thing and one thing only on your mind. That vortex place seems like a good place to be, and I'm going to feel my way in there. Now here's the ulterior motive for getting in there. I'm going to get in that vortex because I want to feel good. Now, we know how off that must sound to someone outside the vortex who wants stuff to come that isn't coming. But if your motive for getting into the vortex is to make that stuff that isn't happening happen, now you've activated the stuff not happening and you can't get in the vortex. So if your motive is just to feel better, here is the largest motive that we would encourage you to assign to yourself about getting into this vortex. In other words, don't say, I'm going to get in because that's where all my stuff is and I'm tired of being without it, because that's what happens. I'm going to go in there and get my stuff that I don't have.